In today's video, I want to take some time and talk to you guys about why I recently decided to mostly shut down my addiction recovery coaching business and coaching services. Now, to be clear, I'm still going to be making content when it comes to addiction recovery stuff, probably more content than even before. And I still do offer a single one-on-one session with people, but I've shut down the courses, the programs, the ongoing meetings, the group coaching, all of that has been shut down. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is. If you're interested in business stuff, if you're interested in learning more about what goes on behind the scenes in the addiction recovery space, or if you're struggling with addiction, this video is definitely going to be worth the listen, okay? Now, I think you need a little background on myself to understand this. So a lot of people online, I think, are under the impression that my sole source of income, or a majority of my income, was coming from coaching. And coaching was actually only a very small fraction of my income. I'm a chiropractor. I'm a certified addiction recovery coach. I'm certified through the state of New York, right? I have an LLC, Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching. It's a social media company, and it was a coaching company, okay? It's both of those things. And it's a legitimate company with insurance and certifications, and it's an established LLC with an EIN number and all that stuff that you can look up online, okay? And so I have that. I have a social media company with my wife, who's also an online influencer. We have the chiropractic offices, and then I have a supplement company that we launched about a year ago. So my income comes from many different areas. I was putting almost 90% of my time into pushing coaching, and coaching was giving me the least return on my time. In fact, over the last year or so, we actually lost money on our coaching programs. Now, that's not entirely why I'm shutting it down though, because I really enjoy coaching people. I really enjoy helping people move from point A to point B, okay? I shut it down because I think largely the coaching industry has become very, very, very tarnished. You have a lot of people who refer to themselves as coaches, and they have no licensing, no certification, no legitimacy behind their business, or no legitimacy behind their experience that they're coaching the person on. And this industry has, I think, become, it's just a very, very negative industry. And I'm saying that lightly, okay? A lot of the coaching industry is just one person insulting another group of people into insulting them to a point where where that person who's being insulted is willing to pay for change. And I want nothing to do with that. I never want anything to do with that, and that's not an industry I want to be part of. So that's probably one of the first reasons why I've shut down the coaching. The second reason is, and maybe this is actually the most important one, is I am an evidence-based, my training is in evidence-based addiction recovery coaching principles, okay? And the most evidence-based form of recovery, the most successful form of recovery, is self-recovery and becoming self-recovered. As in, the person wakes up one day, something clicks in the mindset, and they simply quit using drugs. There's no rehab, there's no 12-week program, there's no 30-day course, there's no therapy, there's no inpatient or outpatient rehab facilities, there's no 12-step groups. In fact, the statistics for those things actually look worse and have higher rates of relapse than the person who finds self-recovery, who eventually just decides to quit on their own, or to quit and then return to moderate consumption, which does happen for a lot of people, okay? That is the most evidence-based thing. And that is at the core of what I teach people. And that comes through in my videos. Now, if you take time and you go through my videos and you look at the comments on my channel, and if I were to show you the DMs and emails that I get every day of people saying, hey, I watched that video, something clicked, it's been over a year now and I haven't smoked weed, I haven't drank alcohol, I haven't consumed cigarettes. That's what it's all about. And I've given that content away for completely free. My ebook is free. My handouts and PDFs are free. You can find all that stuff in the pinned comment or the video description if you want it. My thousands of videos on YouTube are free. In fact, they're so free that over 60% of them, 70% probably, are demonetized by YouTube. So they don't even have ads on them. We're not even getting ad revenue because I violate community guidelines for talking about drugs, whatever. So, like, I've given so much away that you don't even need my coaching programs. And at the core of my message, I don't even believe in ongoing coaching and ongoing stuff. I believe in it from a standpoint of accountability. And for a lot of people that I've worked with on an ongoing basis, that's what I've been able to provide, some degree of accountability. But as far as quitting substances goes, it's really not more than one conversation. Let's figure out what the roadblocks are. Let's do that as quickly as possible. Let's give you a plan, and then let's have you move on with your life. All you gotta do is follow the plan. Anything beyond that is for accountability, and I don't think it's necessary, because if you can't find a way to eventually remain accountable to yourself, you're going to be screwed in one way, shape, or form. Financially, physical health, spiritual health, related to substance use, whatever. You have to be able to be accountable to yourself. So that's why I got rid of a lot of the ongoing programs. The evidence doesn't support it. It's not how I got sober. I got sober on my own. Something clicked one day, and I made a massive change in my life. And the evidence lies in self-recovery, and that's really what I'm looking to give people, that form of self-recovery, choosing to quit on your own accord, on your own free will, not quitting based upon my ongoing program or offerings or support groups or anything like that, okay? Now, I talked about the toxic coaching. Now, another reason why I stopped is because what I charge for coaching is expensive, depending on a person's definition of expensive, right? So a lot of the services and a lot of the revenue that my company brings in is not based on an hourly figure. So yes, I charge, I think it comes out to roughly $350 or $400 an hour for my 1 to 2 hour phone call. That's expensive, depending on your definition of it. I may go do, and this is how a lot of my company generates revenue, it's not from coaching, a public speaking engagement in which I get paid $3,000 to $5,000 for the hour. I work with schools and I write curriculums for drug prevention, and those curriculums are purchased from us, and there's no hourly value tied to that. I have e-commerce products that we sell. There's no hourly rate tied to that. I have my chiropractic offices. The day that I'm filming this, I'm home. It's a day off because I have other people working in the office. So I'm making money despite not being there. So it's a lot per hour if you're charging by the hour, but a lot of the ways that I make money, and then, brand deals, which I haven't even exposed my YouTube channel to the brand deals that I do. They're all like smoking prevention brand deals, rehabilitation, like rehab-related brand deals, not like with rehabs, but like helping people quit drugs type rehab brand deals and stuff like that. And I haven't even exposed my YouTube channel to that, but that's, I might make $5,000 to $20,000 from consulting on a single video. And this isn't to talk about how much I make, but it's to help understand that, like, expensive compared to what? Because my time has become more expensive too, since having a young child, having my wife. For me to step away for an hour, 2 hours for something that isn't a primary source of income, it's going to cost more, right? There's a number that you can put on that, but it's going to cost more because that time is very, very precious when you got a little 1-year-old running around. So I want to talk about that, but yeah, so it's expensive depending on how you see it, and how you see it too. What's expensive to me is my time. So I would rather charge someone $600, $700 for a single session, give them all the information they need in the most condensed amount of time possible, right? If we can get it done in 1 hour, we'll get it done in an hour. If we can't get it done in 2 hours, I'm the wrong person for you. But I'd much rather pay that and charge that than $700 for a 12-week program, which I can tell you from experience in running programs has higher instances of relapse than the single sessions do. Because for me, I value more my time. If you could tell me what I need to know in an hour's time, even if I'm paying a premium for it, I would rather do that than paying the same amount for a drawn out thing, because I don't got 12 weeks to figure something out, or I don't want to watch 30 different videos on withdrawal and quitting. I just want it all in a condensed package, right? So if you were, what's something that I've purchased recently? If you were a Google Ads expert in SEO, I don't want your course. I don't want to sit there and watch 20 videos about SEO. I want to talk to you on the phone. I want you to call my team. I want you to tell us exactly what we need to do. And I will pay the same amount for that hour phone call that I will for your 12-week course if you can condense it correctly for me. So that's just how I view things. That's how I operate. And that's kind of the offerings that we're left with giving people, which is ironic because my company started as a single session. It developed into all these different programs and groups and communities and things like that. And now we're back to the single session coaching, which very few people will sign up for, which is great. That's the goal of this company. Now, I also got away from groups because the last group I did, so originally we had a group that was $4.99. And we grew that to about 200 people, but we didn't charge enough to where we had enough revenue to keep up with the group, right? I had to start onboarding other coaches, other things, but we weren't making enough money each month to keep it alive. So we shut that group down. We made it a free group that's, now sponsored under our Kick It Crave Less Gum product, our supplement product. And it's free because the revenue from our supplement helps to support that group for now. Not saying I charge, just as long as the revenue from that supports it, then it stays free. If we run out of revenue, then it's over. Then I opened up a paid group recently on school.com. And this is where, again, I saw a few problems. One, like we couldn't get retention within the community. We couldn't get new enrollment, largely because I give everything away for free. Two, I think at the core, I'm not crazy about group stuff. I know even for myself, when I quit substances, I was never involved in substance 12-step stuff or anything like that. I immediately got into fitness communities and business communities and entrepreneurial groups. And that's really what carried me through my sobriety. I wasn't focused on, when I was done with drugs, I was done with drugs. That was it. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to hear about it. Done, right? I wanted to move on. So I think that was inherently a problem with me running a group. It goes against my core message of all you need is mindset. I think that was another problem. And lastly, as I saw more how school communities are developing, and everything's business, right? It is about the money. I'm here to tell you it's about the money. A lot of life is about the money. So I understand that. But they started to launch these things like school games and what host, me being a host, can have the most members and who's getting the most income on it and this and that. And like, that's good if you're changing people's lives, but a lot of people are gonna scam people on there. And again, that's not really why I was invested in a group. It wasn't to try and compete with other people running. It was just to kind of run a group and make money and hopefully help a lot of people. But yeah, it just, at the end of the day, it wasn't going to work out. And again, I was getting more and more sucked into that coaching space. I was getting more and more sucked into that addiction recovery, the traditional model of addiction recovery, which I'm totally against. And it just wasn't going to work. So we shut it all down. Now, another reason why is because I have other invested interests, right? Even my supplement company is something that we want to put more effort and I want to put more time into. It's an incredible supplement. I use it regularly. You guys should check it out. You can find it in the pinned comment. Because in reality, like, why can't a lot of people quit? Because of cravings and usually just relatively minor withdrawal symptoms. Well, we designed this to help with weed withdrawal, nicotine withdrawal, cravings from almost any substance. So there you go. There's a little thing. It's easy to use. It's on your own accord, and it should help you get through those first few weeks, right? So to me, that's a lot more exciting than an ongoing program for a person. And I want to put more time into that. Now, some people, haters on here, are going to say, "Oh my God, it's about money." Yes, it's about making money, but no, supplement, we won't be profitable in that for probably another year or two. We're only about a year in, and it takes a long time to make a company like that profitable. If it was strictly about the money, I'd be doubling down on courses and programs and coaching offers and things like that, because that's direct profit for my time, right? Which brings me to my last point of this video, which is interesting. So how do we make money? I kind of already said some of it, but it's mostly brand deals, contracts with businesses and schools, speaking engagements, things like that. I still have the one-on-one session where I do make some money from. E-commerce products. That's really where my brick and mortar business, chiropractic, which fingers crossed, we're looking to expand to our second and potentially third offices over the course of the next 2 years here. And then I have a social media company with my wife. So it would really pain me too when people would say like, "Oh, the coaching, you're ripping off addicts, you're charging addicts." The people, one, you're ripping yourself off. You're the one buying the drugs. You're literally screwing yourself, okay? Two, something's only a ripoff if you promise a person something and then don't deliver on that something. Then in fact it is a scam, it is a ripoff, okay? Three, helping someone get sober and charging for that is not a ripoff. The person willingly consented to that service because they felt that they needed it. That's valuable to a person. It's hard to actually put a number on it. I can put a number on it for me. I could sit down and look and say, look, I've grown this much financially since I've quit. I've saved this much financially since I've quit, so I could put a number on it. And a lot of people probably could, but it's hard to put a value on that. Your time, your energy, your health. A lot of people quitting drugs, they don't even know what that's worth. They don't even know what that number is. So they're like, oh, you know, 600, 700, whatever it's at, $600, $700 for a coaching call, that's expensive. Yes, but like, what's your sobriety worth? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's expensive to you now. Maybe it wouldn't be later on. And most people, and that's why I intentionally keep raising the price that we work with. That's just not a factor for them. And that's usually who I'm geared towards. I'm geared towards business owners, entrepreneurs, working professionals. That's more my demographic, because that's what I was, right? Chiropractor, business owner, struggling with addiction. That's just, I can relate to that crowd a lot. Right? As compared to maybe the person who's starting at rock bottom, there's tons of free resources out there that you'd probably be better off working first before going through a call with me, if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, so that's it when it comes to how I make money. And yeah, you're getting scammed, and not only are you scamming yourself, but you're getting scammed by the people selling it to you, right? The person selling you the drug, the alcohol company, the cannabis dispensary, and look, it's not even a scam, right? For a lot of people, they want the drug, so they're giving the person what they want. So I wouldn't even say it's a scam on their end, but if you really want to say someone's taking advantage of addicts, it's alcohol manufacturers, it's people manufacturing intentionally addictive substances. And that can go for media production too, and social media channels and all that stuff. That's who's taking advantage, right? My goal is to help people kind of escape that, right? Through a form of free will and self-recovery and choice, the ability to make choice again. So anyways, we shut down the coaching, we're pursuing supplement company, and that's really what this video was about. I hope this video makes sense to you guys. I hope maybe some of it's eye-opening. You know, there's a great book out there. There's many books like this, but one of my favorites is called The Freedom Model, and it talks a lot about addiction recovery and kind of where it can be a bit of a scam, and I'll tell you where it can be, which is in a lot of rehab and inpatient things, right? The success rate's very low. A lot of these high-end places preach relapse and the inevitability of relapse, and relapse is part of the program. Why do they do that? Well, if they're making $30K a month off of you at their rehab facility, yeah, they're more than welcome to have you back. And I'm not saying everyone. Some, you know, I think it can start off really well intended, but then like money's a factor. So, you know, you got to keep the clients, you got to keep up with clientele, right? That's any business. So Yeah, I think a lot of rehab is just very poor. Like I have one facility maybe that I'd recommend. We're gonna try some interviews with some more because I do believe in rehab for people who need medical detox. That's really important. But a lot of the industry, a lot of the programs, a lot of this, it's kind of like cult-like. It's kind of brainwashing and it's indoctrinated people. It's very strange. It's very, very strange to me. And that's okay. Hey, if you got sober and you're in a cult that's all about sobriety and you enjoy that, well, that's awesome. You know, you're alive and you're doing better than you were before, hopefully. But if that doesn't appeal to you or you've gone that route and it hasn't worked, you know, maybe the exact opposite of that is a better option, right? Maybe that self-recovery or some guidance towards that is a better option. All right, guys, you can learn more about all our stuff in the pinned comment, the video description, and yeah, check it out. PDF, supplements, all that. Until next time.